When doing exception handling in Python and you have code written that detects an error, you can execute a raise statement to exit the try block and start executing the except block immediately. For example, if you had raise value error and you passed in some kind of message inside the parentheses, it will create a new exception of type value error, and a string argument will explain what that error is. And you can also use the as keyword to provide an object for your exception. So let's take a look at an example of raising exceptions. In this example of exception handling, we're asking the user to enter their age, and if they enter an age that's not a valid integer, and this int function is unable to convert it to an integer, it'll raise and throw a value error and print out invalid age was entered. Let's just try this real quick. If you're 5, program works fine, but if you're FIVE, invalid age was entered, exception was thrown. But what if the person enters an age like 150? I mean, we know that nobody in the world's ever lived to be 150, so, or if they enter an age that's a negative number. So we could check if age is less than 0 or age is greater than, let's just say 120, raise value error, age range is invalid. Do something like that, and that'll force it to throw an exception with this message that describes what the issue is. Let's try this out. So if you're -7 years old, it just prints out invalid age was entered. It only printed out this message, but where did this message go? How come it didn't print out age range is invalid? So what we could do is use the as keyword, as, and afterwards you can call it whatever you want. Let's just call it EX, and let's just print EX and see what happens now when I run the program again. So now if you're -7, now it finally prints out age range is invalid, and then it prints out the other message, invalid age was entered. Let's try it for a number that's greater than 120, 121, and we get the same results. We get two messages, age range is invalid and invalid age was entered. And this is how you raise an exception manually in your try block. Rather than relying on it to just be some kind of real exception, you can force an exception to happen so that your code goes directly to any of these except blocks.